and share something that you believe about becoming successful that most people disagree with.
What is happening, Fire Nation? Appreciate you having me on here, John. And I would say one of the things that I disagree with, that most people would disagree with, that I feel that makes you successful is number one, like hiding the light that you have inside of you. I truly believe that a lot of us as entrepreneurs, we were created to shine a light in our community, to give people an example to follow. Not only in our household, but I'm talking about interweaving through the community, and not only an example in just how to be, but an example how to live in such a way that you're living in abundance. I truly believe that a lot of entrepreneurs shy away from sharing their abundant mindset with their community. And I think that's a tragedy because I believe that we have the capabilities to bring people out of a very scarcity mindset and pull them into an ultimate mindset of abundance. And the truth is, until we do this as entrepreneurs and individuals who are doing very well in life, until we teach other people how to live by these same principles, I do not believe that we can all move forward as a world in whole to progress to just a better way of living and a better way of being, John.
Love the start to this episode, Fire Nation. Hold on to your afterburners because we're just going up, up, and away from here because we're talking about the 5 keys to unlocking the kingdom. And I want to talk about life visions to start. What, in your opinion, John, are the steps to create our life vision?
Well, ultimately, John, it's really having a play date with your creator, whether you call that God or the universe. Really doesn't matter exactly what you call it, but it's literally sitting there and pulling out your heart's desires. What does your dream life look like? Write it down. And I'm going to give you guys a hint here. If it's not emotional, if it doesn't move you when you write this dream life down, where it is that you're going, if it's not emotional and it doesn't emotionally move you, then it's not going to work. It's not going to emotionally move you to do the work on a daily basis. So that, my friends, is positioning yourself to keep your eye on the big goal, the big vision, the big prize that you have in front of you. And that's what's going to create the motivation needed to do even the smallest task, John.
Fire Nation. I mean, this is the step that you take to create that life vision. It starts with one. It starts with learning from people who have been there, done that. And most people, John, talk about a vision when they're talking about their business. But you actually believe that we should focus on our dream life first. Talk about that belief structure. Talk about that system and why you believe that.
Well, absolutely. Absolutely. So the business is just, if you got a hand with 5 fingers on it, right? Your business is just going to be one of them fingers. So you see what I'm saying? You got multiple areas of your life that you need to incorporate in this vision. Now, your business is going to be part of it, no doubt. But at some point, you're going to experience some sort of burnout. And that's because your life as a whole is being neglected in the building process. Like, see, John, I don't want to live a life by default in any area of life. I want to live a life by design. You see, many people live a life of default, meaning their philosophy of life is simply what they receive. They do not live it by design. I work with a lot of my clients of stepping out of that way of thinking, and we look at all areas of life. Because regardless, you are a philosopher in different areas of your life, whether you want to be or not. It's either going to be by design or by default. And if you leave it up to default, then it's the same thing as expecting to get something different, but doing the same thing over and over again.
Let's get specific. I want to talk about the steps that we need to take to make our vision a reality. I mean, I love the fact that you're talking about the dream life first, and how most people are focusing on the wrong things at the beginning. So what would this look like in a real world setting?
Yeah, so ultimately, in a real world setting, you would be spending one entire day writing down your exact desires, like exactly what your dream life looks like. And in detail, I mean, from the moment you wake up until what happens in the middle of the day, all through the day. And I mean, get very detailed. And at certain points in the day, I want you to express the moment that you found that you're living the life of your dreams. And that should actually create an emotion as you read it. You're going to have to read this often because this is what you're going to refer back to. Now, here's what happens. Here's where the magic happens, John. When you create your dream life and you write that down, you actually got a framework to establish your values. You do that by reading that dream day and seeing what you valued. I'm talking about this is the biggest, best version of you. This is the giant, as Tony Robbins would say, the giant inside that you are emerging and you're putting down on a piece of paper. And now you've actually got the map to move towards the treasure that's inside of your heart. Now, from this, you're actually going to be able to understand what your values are. Because what you value on that perfect day, whether it's your family, your business, going on vacations, anything that you value, you're going to be able to establish what your core values are. Now, when you get your core values in line and you got your dream day in line, you're going to be able to break out what I call a yearly plan. That yearly plan is going to be a list of things that you want to accomplish in 1 year. From there, you break down a quarterly plan. That's taking a quarter of that year and putting what you want to accomplish this quarter. It's very easy, very strategic. Then what do? You take one of them items off of that quarterly and you put it on your monthly. Then you take and create your weekly plan. And from your weekly plan, you pull out your daily most important tasks. People don't realize I only do 2 or 3 tasks a day. I mean, I own 7 businesses, everything from manufacturing to education. And I only do a handful of tasks each and every day. But because they are meaningful and they are moving towards my vision, everything is in alignment. Meaning all the way from the top, that big vision, that thing that I'm moving towards is in line all the way down to just the little tasks I do each and every day. There is a power in that because you're not going to be doing anything. The biggest problem I've had, John, and I know you probably mentored people, is they don't know what to do on a daily basis.
So true.
Yeah, and I just gave you the exact formula to push the ball down the field little by little each and every day towards the life of your dreams. And you'll be very surprised that when you start moving in this way, how quickly and how rapidly the life of your dreams will come to you, because these tasks that you're doing have all power in them. Now, what that means is as you are doing your daily task, you are holding your ultimate vision, your ultimate dream. You don't have to see it in every detail. It becomes an actual feeling. In fact, if it's your ultimate vision, your ultimate dream, you're not going to have to spend any time or any effort trying to hold it into your mind's eye because you're going to be in love with it. And every single little task, you're going to know that it's moving you closer to this ultimate life.
Fire Nation, I really hope you're understanding this process that John's breaking down because, man, this is the exact things, as he mentioned, that I've gotten across to a lot of my mentees that I've been mentored on, and this stuff just works. And we have so many more important things to talk about when we get back from thanking our sponsors. Looking for scalability and customization in the software that you're using to run your business? Smart move, Fire Nation. Using software and tools that scale with you and that are customizable is a must when growing your business, and that's why a HubSpot CRM is perfect. HubSpot scales with you. So whether you're brand new to the business space or welcoming your 100,000th customer, HubSpot is impossible to outgrow. HubSpot also offers several hubs, apps, and tools that are all customizable. So whatever your business needs to stand out, HubSpot can deliver. Their website builder is a perfect example of this. Build a unique website for your business quickly and easily with HubSpot's web builder. All you have to do is select a theme from the HubSpot marketplace or let developers build your unique theme from scratch. With its easy-to-use editor, you'll be able to seamlessly make updates and take full ownership of your site in no time. Learn how your business can grow better at HubSpot.com. As an entrepreneur just starting out or looking to scale up, it can be tricky to know which advice to follow. And if you've been thinking about making an online course part of your business, the Thinkific Trends Report is one of the most important things you'll read this year. The team at Thinkific analyzed the top 20% of creators to discover what they're doing differently to make them so darn successful. In this report, you'll uncover why top creators are 2 times more likely to use communities, 3 times more likely to sell courses in bundles, plus learn why it's time to say goodbye to the hard sell. I can say after reading it that this report is chock full of insights you can immediately put into action today, because if you're still creating courses the same way you were 5 years ago, you might be missing out on some big opportunities. Discover which trends are powering the most successful creators in 2022, what their secrets are to growing their business, how they focus their time, and much more. Visit thinkific.com/firetrends. That's thinkific.com/firetrends. John, we're all back, and let's just call a spade. We all, as humans, hit a wall at some point. I mean, it just happens. So what do you recommend that we do when this does in fact happen?
So literally, hitting a wall just simply means that you are leveling up in some area of your life. People don't realize that because a lot of the gurus out there and quite frankly, a lot of the marketers out there try to convince you that moving towards this dream life is always going to be sunshine and rainbows. And that is so far from the truth. You wouldn't even want it to be, in all honesty. So there's going to be times when you hit a wall, but that is going to allow you to do something that I call lean into the darkness. Meaning you need to look into what emotion is evoking this and use it as a moment to correct that, to throw your entire thought against that. I remember, John, back in the day, I had this issue where I would have scarcity problems. I would make a bunch of money and then I would get scared that I was going to lose it. Then I would start losing my money and then I would make a bunch of money again. And then I would get scared I was going to lose it. And then, I mean, it was just this cycle that a lot of entrepreneurs get in, right? So at one point when I was in the cycle where I was in a scarcity cycle and I hit a wall, right? Like when you're in the moment of scarcity, you're paralyzed. You're afraid. You can't move. You can't do anything. I actually took the time to not only look at scarcity as a terrible thought and as something that was not me. So I'm looking at my vision of who I am, right? And I'm looking at this scarcity. I'm like, this isn't me. I actually, through my mind, my entire will, I casted it out of my body, out of my heart, out of my soul as an absolute sin. So as it came to me and as it hit me, I would literally dismiss it. You had to throw all your will against it. But what happens is, little by little over time, that thought will be replaced with thoughts of abundance. These are the times when you hit a wall, John, where you got to work on yourself the most. They call that pushing towards the mark. So there's something that's holding you back, right? Being self-aware and understanding what that thing is and literally doing everything in your power to overcome that one thing. So we're all going to hit these. We're all going to have financial ceilings. We're all going to have issues that come up in life. But it's important that we're self-aware enough to discover what these things are and learn how to combat and move through them and become better when we step out on the other side.
Fire Nation, as I mentioned at the intro, we're talking about the 5 keys to unlocking the kingdom. So we've been going through a lot of these keys. John, what have we not gone through of these 5 keys that Fire Nation really needs to know about unlocking the kingdom?
You know, I truly believe, John, I do something on a daily basis that I call the savage surrender. And essentially that is a morning ritual routine. And I mean, to be successful, guys, I'm just going to give you guys a heads up. You got to do things that are a little bit out of the normal. And to be bigger and better than you are today, you're going to have to step out of the normal way that people think, the normal way. People are living by default. You want to live by design. So I literally spend about an hour to an hour and a half each and every day in intense visualization. I spend time in prayer. I spend time reading books. I spend time in, I already said meditation, but I spend time literally looking in the mirror, telling myself who I am. Because I don't want to go out into the world and forget who I am. Because that individual that's inside of you, all of us have it, John. I mean, you know, like we have this bigger, better version that we know is emerging that we're moving towards. And I believe that that is our inheritance. And we want to step into that. We want to claim the biggest, best version of who we are and pull that into our life. And that takes discipline. That takes effort. And ultimately, when we become the biggest, best version of who we are, that means we get to step out in the world with our torch blazing. Now, what happens when you got a torch and you're lit and you're on fire? You've got momentum on your side. Somebody from a distance, John, could see this. They could have their own torch, John, and it'd be a little flickering flame. But from a distance, they could see your flame blazing. You get the opportunity to touch their torch, light their torch on fire, and then they get the opportunity to do the same. What I think a lot of people have to realize, John, is that everything outside of nature was first created as a thought in the mind of man. Meaning, if you look out and you look at the houses in your neighborhood, you look at the streets, you look at the cars, your car that you are driving was once inside a mountain. And that was pulled out by the thought of man. When you light yourself on fire and you become a torch that you can begin spreading your light throughout the world, you have the opportunity to change the thoughts of man. What did we just establish? The entire world outside of nature was created by the thoughts of man. The best thing that we can do in this world is spread our light, bring people to their full potential so they'll change their thoughts. And that, my friends, is how the world is changed.
Fire Nation, if your hair on the back of your neck isn't standing up right now, check your pulse. I mean, these are some powerful words, some amazing value bombs from John Highley. And John, as we start to kind of wind down here, what is the one major takeaway that you want to make sure Fire Nation gets from everything that we talked about here today?
There's two ways to live life, my friends. Just like love and lust, there's always two ways to do one thing. Love and lust climb the same vine. They look a lot alike. But one of them will last for eternity, and the other one is here today and gone tomorrow. You need to build your life through what's going to last forever. There's always two ways. You can make money in two different ways. You can be a terrible person. You could be a great person to make money. You've got to understand that, and you got to make sure that you go down the right path when it comes to these things. And I believe that a key to that is an abundant mindset, is literally walking, rather than walking in competition, where you throw down the ladder behind you where nobody can climb it, where you've got to disagree with your neighbor because he's in the same business as you. I believe that you need to step into a creative spirit, because ultimately, John, at the end of the day, we were born to create. And I'm going to tell you guys this. You can get, when you're creating, when you're in creative mode, you can be happy, you can be angry, you can be forced to put together an IKEA, piece of furniture. So you can get mad at that, right, during that time, but you can't be depressed because you're an individual who is on a mission. So what are you creating? Step into that creative spirit. And that would be my big takeaway.
What are the best ways that Fire Nation can connect with you, can learn more from you? Any call to action you have for our audience? Let's hear that now.
Absolutely. So I actually bought a domain name specifically for Fire Nation. Whoa. And I am going to be giving away a free course. Literally everything I've ever created on the Marketing Savage courses, everything from my business course all the way down to my actual marketing course. I'm going to give away free just to Fire Nation. And they can get that at eosavage.com.
eosavage.com. And one more time, what are they going to get when they go there?
So they're going to get all of the courses I've ever created for free. I got something called Marketing Savage University, where they're going to be able to go through all of my marketing systems. I mean, there's probably 15 courses in there, everything from developing your avatar to exactly how to target your ideal audiences, all the way through that. And they're also going to get my business systems, because I've managed to scale and build 7 multi-million-dollar businesses in total. I own 6 of them today, and I have a specific system and a way that's in coordinates with what I've talked about here today. And they're going to be able to get all of that for free. No strings attached. You literally go there, you'll be able to get it for free, and that's it.
Fire Nation, you're the average. Of the 5 people you spend the most time with, you've been hanging out with John Highley and JLD today. So keep up the heat. Head over to eofire.com. Just type John, John, in the search bar. The show notes page will pop up with everything we've talked about here today. And John, one more time, what is that call to action URL?
Just like your website, John, the EO Fire, it is actually eosavage.com.
John, thank you for sharing your truth, knowledge, value with Fire Nation today. For that, we salute you, and we'll catch you on the flip side.
I appreciate it, John. Thank you.
Hey, Fire Nation. Today's Value Bomb content was brought to you by John. In Fire Nation, what can 3,000 of the world's most successful entrepreneurs teach you? How about how to achieve financial freedom and fulfillment? My first traditionally published book, The Common Path to Uncommon Success, is a revolutionary 17-step roadmap that will lead you to the lifestyle that you've been dreaming about. This book took me 10 years of accumulating the genius of the world's top entrepreneurs, and you can get it all in one place when you visit uncommonsuccessbook.com. And I'll catch you there, or I'll catch you on the flip side. Still think you can create an online course the same way you did 5 years ago? Think again. Thinkific has looked at the top 20% of course creators to see what they're doing now to be so darn successful. Find out for yourself at thinkific.com/firetrends. Work in sales or interested in learning how to sell? Then check out the Salesman Podcast with Will Barron. You'll learn how to find buyers and win big business in effective and ethical ways with episode topics like the 4-step process to influencing buying decisions. Listen to The Salesman wherever you get your podcasts.